Hey buddies, it's your girl AyChristene, and today we're checking out Transform into Pokemon SCP-5254. Gotta catch them. That was a long title, bruh. This is by TheRubber. Check out the links down below. Also, like the video and comment down below to help your girl out in the algorithm. Let's see what it says. May depict violence, action. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm excited.
Discretion is advised. What kid hasn't wanted to own a Pokemon at some point? How amazing would it be to watch a Poke battle between a Charizard and a Blastoise? But maybe things like that, the unbelievable, should remain just that, fantasies.
Okay. All right,
as kids, we don't really understand the real-world ramifications of our youthful dreams. I, for one, was unfortunate enough to have that dark reality shoved into my face.
Oh dear.
Allow me to explain.
Okay, go ahead.
My brother and I were 13, and we're going crazy over the new Pokemon Diamond and Pearl game. Well, I wasn't as enthusiastic about it as he was.
Oh,
sure, I played the game often late into the night, but my brother Jace went full throttle into the fandom by this point.
Goodness,
he bought shirts, pajamas, and little trinkets of his favorite Pokemon.
Those are cute, though.
You know, that little water penguin-looking thing?
It's adorable.
Anyway, it didn't matter where he was. He'd have something with a Piplup on it, and wasn't embarrassed or ashamed at all to let everyone know it.
Yeah.
I admit it was a little cringe to see my brother like this, but he wasn't hurting anyone. He wasn't. Eventually, my brother started to complain about his arms hurting, that they were getting stiff, that his fingers would get stuck together for some reason.
Oh dear.
He often complained of headaches as well, that he could feel his skull shift around. I wrongly assumed his body was stiff and sore from just playing games too long, as well as severe eye strain from looking at his screen from dawn to dusk.
Okay.
If only that were the case. Instead, I had to watch my brother transform into a grotesque abomination.
What?
Jace stopped attending school, citing he was feeling extremely sick, yet refused to be taken to the hospital. And despite our parents' efforts, they couldn't pull him out of his room, literally. It was like he had gotten stronger, far stronger than a kid of his age should be, with how easy he pushed our dad away.
I thought his arm broke off.
Locked in his room, I could hear him complain about his hands and feet, and something that began to protrude from his face. Eventually, he stopped talking and stopped coming out. I mustered up the courage to finally check on him and found him laying on his bed covered by a blanket. Upon removing his covers, I gasped in shock and was repulsed by the nasty scent that wafted up to my nose. He was dead. Or rather, what used to be my brother was dead. His favorite Piplup hoodie had merged with his flesh, creating some bulbous, bluish-looking penguin thing with a beak made of bone. His fingers had merged together and slightly resembled flippers. Jace's poor feet were now bent at awkward angles, like they were trying to become talons.
Oh my gosh.
Amidst the remains of my brother, there was a slip of paper with a single crooked sentence written on it. My dream is nothing but a nightmare. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Keter Class Object SCP-5254.
What is that?
5254, also known as Gotta Catch 'em All, refers to the transformation process of a human or object into one of the 980 Pokemon created by Nintendo. Through unknown anomalous means, any person or object is transformed through prolonged exposure to any clothing or accessories that resemble a Pokemon.
That is
hilarious. This process is documented as being extremely painful, and most humans are unable to survive the process. Foundation autopsy reports show that organs and flesh of the deceased have been converted into plastics or cotton. In other words, the material that made up the Pokemon memorabilia replaces the infected person's flesh.
That's disgusting.
Later tests have also shown that an unknown DNA has been found within the deceased. This DNA not only replaces the victim's DNA, but it is speculated to be the DNA of the Pokemon as well. After further research, it has been discovered that these transformations occur if the victim slightly resembles the Pokemon in question. And if the victim in question is near a large number of individuals wearing said Pokemon garb. Discovered rather recently by the Foundation in 2019 in Yokohama, Japan, at the Pikachu Outbreak Festival. 5254 publicly began with a victim behaving erratically while wearing a Pikachu costume. Publicly redacted videos showed a large number of individuals
I like how he said publicly redacted, meaning like you can't find the video if
One of them stumbled out of the crowd and charged into a nearby crowd. Nearly a dozen others followed suit shortly after. Foundation MTF Wranglers were mobilized to not only locate these victims, but to terminate them as well for research. Interestingly enough, those harmed in the attack reported electrical burns.
So
over the
they
course
also
of
have the power.
2017 to 2018, a series of emails between one Sir Viper and high-level executives from Nintendo, Pokemon Company,
build
and
a real-life
Niantic caught the
Pokemon?
Foundation's attention.
Sure,
These
why
emails
not?
insinuated
That's
the plan
hilarious.
to bring Pokemons to life, as well as to use them in various purposes such as military firepower,
That is
quite literally
hilarious.
using Charizard, and potential clean energy using Pikachu. And most disturbingly,
That's
kidnapping
hilarious.
of children from orphanages under an outreach program for the purposes of running tests.
Yikes.
After this, all communications with Sir Viper ceased, and the O5 Council ordered a raid on the Pokemon Company offices on June 16, 2019.
This is a hilarious,
This was done
like,
in fear of
faux,
a potential K-Class scenario. The members from
dark
MTF
story news
Epsilon
thing.
11 were chosen for the raid. The men were gathered by the team leader in the room for a briefing. All right, boys, the darndest thing just happened. Remember them
darndest
Pokemons you played with when you were little? They just got real. People are turning into them. We're gonna find out why. Now, we've notified the Japanese government about this op. The target is the Pokemon Company offices in Tokyo. No disrespect, Cap,
Right, how would they
but
have-
I simply can't take this seriously.
Right. There's
A
also how would
Pokemon
they
raid?
be able to
Really?
raid
What's the
a
plan?
Japanese office?
Human lives are involved in this case. Keep that in mind, and maybe you'll realize the gravity of the situation. We'll be split into squads.
They won't care
Your
unless
team will be on
Merc is
crowd
affected.
control duty while we do our thing. We move quickly, and we're gonna hit that place hard and fast. Understood? Yes, sir.
Phrasing.
All right, grab your gear. We move out in 5. The team arrived at the location via chopper. The men touched down on the roof of the Pokemon Company offices. Multiple MTF squads disembarked, quickly covering the area. Fox 3, status report. Fox 3 and a different squad had blended into the crowd in the lower levels where a Pokemon exhibition was going on. Civilian evacuation in the lower levels in progress. There's a huge Pokemon Center on the first floor that's still filled with tourists. Quarantine
not
for
tourists.
infection. Then rendezvous at coordinates. Roger. All right, you heard the man.
Those are probably
Get those
not
Poke
regular
fanatics out of
civilians.
there. All right, team. On me.
It's probably
The MTF
already
agent
them.
stacked up against the fire exit on the roof, and the door opened easily. They descended down the fire exit steps and reached a set of double steel doors on the lower level. Silently, Fox 1 gestured Fox 2 to prep some smoke grenades in a flashbang as he breached the doors.
These are all
All
a
the
lot of
canisters
details.
are tossed in, and just as they were about to storm in, there was a huge mechanic clank from the other end of the hall, followed by the sound of heavy, thudding footsteps.
Oh, is that a
Hold on.
freaking
Shh. Hear that?
Charizard?
The men watched the corridor in anticipation. A low growl,
Oh
followed by
my-
a roar.
Oh my gosh.
A 2 meters tall creature emerged from the smoke. Orange skin,
Do
elongated
you see
snout,
the-
and
what are
2
the
vast
bumps?
wings flapped with power
What
to
are
blow
the
away the
bumps
smoke.
on them? Like
It then
woozy?
roared again straight at the men as they froze.
Oh, that's a
Holy
freaking Charizard.
crap. Is that freaking Charizard?
Mm-hmm.
Engage! Engage! The dragon-like creature immediately spewed streams of fire,
Oh, so they're
setting some
like
of
a-
the men aflame.
Oh
Get
goodness.
cover! Get cover!
They're able to
keep the pressure
invoke
on.
the powers.
What's the plan here, boss? Shoot it till it's dead. And
Great
eventually,
plan, boss.
the team filled the creature with bullet holes, and it was brought down. Its fallen carcass lay slumped over in the middle of the hallway, bleeding from its wounds.
That's
Christ.
disgusting.
Never thought I'd see the day where I gunned down my favorite Pokemon. Clear. Proceed to lower levels.
Is it clear?
The MTF passed more and more hallways. Pokemon
Oh, watch
posters
out for
lined the
them.
walls with slogans like
Prepare for
"Prepare
trouble.
for trouble"
Make
and
it
"Make
double."
it double," with the occasional person in a white coat detained as they emerged from a doorway. Makes you wonder what kind of messed up stuff they've been hiding down here. Quiet, eyes up front. They arrived at another steel door. They stacked up, and this
Stay
time
away from
Fox
it.
1 gestured for explosives.
And when you
Breach
say
and
they,
clear.
oh, there are more.
Weapons
I was
free.
like, is it just
Shoot
them
anything
two?
that walks funny. They set the charge and took cover
Be
behind
careful.
a turn in the corridor.
Like,
The doors flew wide open as the explosives went off.
shoot anything that walks
Screams
funny.
echoed within the room as the MTF entered and scanned for targets through the smoke.
Okay.
As the smoke cleared, they could see the room was brightly lit and filled with
Alright.
colorful drawings, toys
Are
scattered
those
on the floor,
kids?
and rows of metal cages set against the walls, housing abominations that shocked the team.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Were those
The
previously
creatures
children?
within the cages were at various stages of 5254 transformation.
like a
However,
FNAF
most of
mixed with
them
a
can be
kid.
seen were transformed from children. These kids. Wait,
that's messed up.
Does this mean the Charizard we killed before was... Yeah, looks like it. I'm sorry.
Dear.
Fox 2 stumbled back and vomited in disgust as the children afflicted with 5254 cried.
Yikes.
Jesus.
It's a very delayed
Fox
cry, I will say that.
Think we found the kids. Requesting immediate medical pickups. Copy. Any sign of Sir Viper? Negative. Only his handiwork. We're seizing electronic serves as evidence.
Sir Viper look like?
Copy.
Okay. Oh, you mean like that team, right?
Over. Christ. Think I've seen enough for a day. I remember when I was a kid. I loved Pokemon. Loved it.
Did you love them this much?
Every game, every cartoon, figurines, I'd collect them all. Hell, I even have a sticker album that I keep in my drawers at home. I've always wished that I live in the Pokemon world, seeing and playing with these fantastic beings.
Do you still believe that now?
Well, you don't have to wish for it any longer. It has become a reality. Your wish has come true.
Don't say it like that.
I used to think being around them would be so much fun, but now I'm not so sure anymore.
They would
in order to mitigate the
world.
effects of 5254, embedded Foundation personnel and the Pokemon Company worked to suppress the popularity of Pokemon. This was done by causing outrage of Pokemon Sword and Shield by releasing it with limited Pokemons, as well as preventing large-scale Pokemon-themed events. Despite the Foundation's efforts, Sir Viper has yet to be apprehended.
Sorry, it was a good stretch. I feel like they failed. I don't feel like the popularity went down at all. And that more and more, it's hilarious. Like, oh, we try to depopularize Pokemon by releasing these ones with limited Pokemon. And I feel like Pokemon is one of those things that, one of those properties that even though people at mass complain about different things, it's never gonna be depopularized at all. I think, especially with them coming out with new things like Pokemon Go. Like people were freaking dying playing Pokemon Go, and that did not stop Pokemon at all, at all. So if people could die and after playing a game and of their own accord, but people were dying, and it didn't depopularize Pokemon at all, not at all. So releasing limited games, releasing limited games is not going to stop it, mister. So you're going to have to think of something else. That was funny. It was funny how they the execution of this video. It was like a mixture of like one of those scary story animations mixed with like a Dateline special mixed with like parody, right? One of these like horror things that happen, and especially making it this like horror experience, you know? But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you, after seeing this, would you still want Pokemon to be in this world? And then would you want to be a Pokemon? You know, I wouldn't want to turn into a Pokemon. I can tell you right now, I do not want to turn into one. I don't think that they should exist. I think they should just stay as like toys and games and movies and TV shows, not as real life things. They will destroy the world. The world will burn. Okay, wild animals with powers, the world would burn. All right. And even though sometimes the world does deserve to burn, I don't know if that would be fair in this case. Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to hit the like button and comment to help your girl out in the algorithm. And check out the links to become a member or patron. I love you guys as always. And until next time, buddies. Toodles.